Hi there, Dr. Rock here. Sorry, I am going to change my microphone, but this isn't. Hi there, Dr. Rock here, and welcome back. I am a lifestyle medicine physician. I am here most every Wednesday. I wasn't here last week. I was on vacation and had a wonderful, amazing time with my family. We went to Costa Rica. I wrote all about it. Well, not all about it, but I wrote about it in my newsletter this week, which you can check out at my website, rockyourlife.com. I'm this week going to be talking about uh, whether or not we're ready to make change, whether or not you might be ready to make a big change that you've been contemplating. And when I say change, I mean a change in your life, a change, usually when I talk about it, a change in your lifestyle, a change in how you live your life on a regular basis. That sounds uh, maybe overly dramatic, but that's the reality of the situation. The changes that have benefits and the changes that have harms in our life are the ones that we do on a consistent basis. And the question is, are you ready to make a change that you can do on a consistent basis? So I'm not going to talk about how you do something or how you make that change to do something consistently. I'm actually going to talk about how you know if you're ready to move forward. And so there's a way to assess your readiness for change. And then I'm going to provide some actionable tips to help you move forward. So this all comes from what we call what is been developed is this trans-theoretical model of change. And the trans-theoretical model, there's lots of different theories of change, but this particular model is widely used, and it's intuitive in the sense that it's the stages that we go through as we're thinking about and then implementing change in our life. So there are 6 stages. Let's see, I'm going to try, sorry, 5 stages. 5 stages of change. Okay, I'm trying something new today. First one is pre-contemplative. So I'm going to give you an example to make this concrete. Okay, and I'll give you my personal example. So when I was transitioning or thinking about, that's a better way to say. Well, right now I eat a largely whole food plant-based diet. And that means most of what I eat is unprocessed and whole unprocessed plant food. And of course, I cook it and prepare it and put it together in all sorts of delicious ways, but it starts off mostly unprocessed. 8 years ago, I was eating the majority of my food was processed food. And now I don't eat animal products. 8 years ago, most of the food I ate, most of the meals I ate, almost every meal I ate included animal products. So how does one go from that to, and the first stage is called pre-contemplation. It suggests that you have to be aware. So the first stage is really awareness, is understanding that what you're doing now maybe isn't the best thing for you, or it isn't in alignment with your values. It's understanding your values and what you're doing. So if you're pre-contemplative, you're not aware of that. So I went many years, when I was in school and training, where I didn't really think that what I was doing was a big deal. In fact, I justified it. I told myself that I'm working so hard. I deserve this. This is how I treat myself. There are all sorts of reasons why you kind of stay stuck, but that is to not even acknowledge that perhaps there would be benefit in your life to change. So then the next stage is contemplative. And contemplative is when you're like, okay, maybe I should change my diet. Now, a lot of times something instigates that. In my case, it was, and I've written about this, I've talked about this, it was the unexpected impending news of the arrival of our third child that really first shocked me and then like shocked me into action. And so I went to go see my doctor, and then I learned that I had all these chronic medical conditions, the same chronic medical conditions that I was treating, or rather the end result of the chronic conditions I was treating in the hospital: heart attacks, strokes, complications of diabetes. And so then I had to reconcile, like, how can I go on living and doing the things I'm doing when I purportedly, my value is I want to be a good father to my kids. I want to be a role model. And so there was a reckoning. But contemplation is when you sort of, and we're going to get into this, but you start to understand the importance of your change. You start to connect the change to your personal values and goals. Okay? And the next is preparation. So let's say, okay, I I was in. I was like, I want to make this change. It's important to me. So importance was there. And as we're going to talk about, there's two things that are really, really necessary for uh, moving forward in making the change, what we call the action phase, which we'll get to. And one is importance. So it has to be really important to you. And there's a lot of things that make it important to people. That is really like, you know, knowing your why. Once you get beyond that to this preparation phase, that's when you're really kind of, okay, how do I make this change? Like, what do I need to do? What are the skills I need to learn? What kind of guidance and support do I need? Like, how would this look in my life? And this is where, you build up your confidence. So importance is important, but confidence is important. And preparation is where you build up your confidence. And then action. Action is when you really move into the behavior. Um, Speaking of preparation, like I ate plant-based for Mondays, just once a week for a year, because I wanted to figure out ways to prepare it so that it tasted good and that it was easy and convenient. And I knew I didn't want every meal to feel like a restriction or a punishment. So I was like, well, other people eat this and enjoy it. Like, how can I do that? And so I had to build up that confidence. I had to build up those skills. And once you do, you can kind of move into this action phase. And it's not perfect. This is when you're iterating and figuring things out. And so we're not going to get into that today, but after action comes maintenance. And then after maintenance comes relapse. And it's a cycle. I like that relapse it's necessary that it's in the model, because it implies then that nobody is perfect, that we should expect, as our guest of the Health Feast next week podcast, Dr. Tom Rafai says, slips and slides. And slips happen earlier on, and slides happen maybe even after you've been doing something for a long time. And so, yeah, we should expect that. So, but today I want to talk about how you know you're ready to change. And I already hit on the two kind of key points. The first one is, how important is this change to you? Right? So this is when you're contemplating, you're aware that you want to make the change. And we ask people, really ask my patients, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is assess your readiness. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I'm the most ready. There's nothing, 10 being is the most important thing to me. There's nothing more important than this. and one being not important at all. And you really have to be honest with yourself here. You have to ask yourself, like, what, you know, is this important to me? Is changing my diet important to me? You don't have to know how you're going to do it. You don't have to know a lot of things. You just have to say, is this important to me? And if so, ideally to move into preparation, it should be 7 or higher. Ideally, it should be as high as possible. So we can talk at the very end about some steps to boost importance. And the next is confidence. And confidence is what you build during preparation, right? And confidence, it's really, the way I want you to think about it is it speaks to the mindset you have around the change that you're contemplating. And what I mean by that is, when we talk about I talk about mindset like as defined by Carol Dweck in her book Mindset. So there are fixed mindsets. It's a spectrum, but you can have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. Fixed mindset that my traits and strengths and qualities are fixed, and growth mindset really employs the idea that with hard work and practice, I can get better and I can improve. And so, your confidence, you don't have to know how you're going to make these changes, but you have to have confidence that with time, with effort. So what does that require? It requires that you have a plan, or that you have the right guidance and support. I mean, this is why I do what I do, to give people that guidance and support, because when I was making my changes, I had I didn't have one person that was helping me directly, but I was able to, intentionally seek out resources, people, opportunities, things like that to help me on my journey. Guidance and support is, and then you got to be accountable to yourself, and other people can help with that too. So, okay, then how do we boost importance? I mean, I always say importance is knowing your roots. That's R and RAK is your roots. Importance is knowing your why. Why is it important for me to make change? Um, this I also like to say is really your conception of yourself, what your self identity is, like who is the person that I am, that I want to be. I'll go back to my example where I was saying it, what kind of example do I want to be for my kids? I want to role model health. Do I want them to have the same affliction in relationship with food that I have? Or do I want them to have a healthier relationship? Um, do I want to be, healthy and vital for them for many years so I can be around? These kinds of things. And just on a day-to-day basis, like, do I just want to feel crappy, or do I want to feel good? And I think that's the most important one, to be honest. So I just want to feel good every day. Some of the long-term like aspirations are important. Like, I want to do this for my kids, and I think that can help build importance. But when you actually experience like how good it feels, like when you have more energy and you sleep better and all these things, your mood is better. Uh, that's powerful, and that'll build importance. You're only going to experience that if you start to make the changes and do them consistently. So that won't necessarily be the importance that gets you going. Okay. All right. And then how do you build confidence? Um, how can I boost confidence? Set achievable small goals. Like I said, I did like plant-based eating once a week for a year. I figured out recipes that I could make. I tried out different recipes. I tried out things in the cafeteria that I otherwise wouldn't have eaten or tried, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty good." Or so, those are small wins. Every Monday was a small win, but I was building my confidence, right? And then, having the right guidance, support, accountability for sure. You can work with me, you can work with a health coach, you can have an accountability partner, like a friend who, I did that for months when I started exercising like 6 or 7 years ago when I hadn't for many years. I just had my friend and I would send each other a little thumbs up emoji. We did that I've done that, when I was trying to change my morning schedule so I could wake up early in the morning and work out. I did that for several weeks with a friend. So, you know, there's all sorts of ways you can help kind of build accountability for yourself in your life. Um, yeah. Okay. And let me turn this on. That's all I have planned. But I appreciate you listening and watching. If you would like to learn more, you can visit my website, rockyourlife.com. And I will see you back here next time. Live well and rock on, my friends.